Tampa Bay is a large estuary where fresh water flows from an even bigger area down rivers, streams, and storm drains until it meets salt water from the Gulf of Mexico. The bay and surrounding watershed are home to many diverse habitats including forests, rivers, lakes, marshes, oyster reefs, mangroves, seagrass meadows, and barrier islands. The bay supports diverse fish and wildlife populations, but also 3 million people living in major metropolitan areas and surrounding communities.
I'm Beth Voorhees. I'm a professor of environmental studies and biology, and I'm at Eckerd College in St. Petersburg, Florida. Okay, so lots of species of birds are highly dependent on the water, and you tend to get more species diversity and more abundance in areas with water. People use birds as indicators of ecosystem health, and different birds are eating different kinds of fish. So you can look at, a really big bird like an osprey and say, okay, how are the big fish doing? And maybe a smaller bird, something like a little blue heron or a snowy egret, and you can say, okay, how are we doing with smaller fish? A lot of birds also rely on visual cues, so they need to be able to see the fish to be able to get it. Species like a least tern, which is an imperiled species, who's a highly visual forager, and so it needs the fish to be there and it needs to be able to see them. And for that, we need to have low amounts of algae and sediment in the water so that we have good water clarity. Ultimately, a lot of the water that we have on land eventually is going to end up in Tampa Bay, and so that's one of the reasons why it's really important for even what we do on the land to be contributing to a healthier environment for Tampa Bay. The Tampa Bay region supports a pretty diverse group of raptors. And so some of our birds of prey, like the ospreys and the eagles, eat fish, but a lot of them are eating, marsh rabbits and other species of birds. You have birds that eat birds. And so it's important to have a healthy ecosystem for them. One issue we've had in the Tampa Bay region is when we try to get rid of our non-native rats and we put second-generation anticoagulants into bait boxes. Sometimes the rat eats it, comes out, and then let's say a great horned owl eats it, it can die. And we've had entire families of owls die because of that. There are so many things that the general public can do. The number one killer of birds is your pet cat that hopefully you're keeping inside. Windows also kill birds. We have more permanent little dots that we put on windows. We have silhouettes on windows of birds, but it breaks up the reflection.
Welcome to the wonderful beaches of Tampa Bay.
You would never walk through an area where it's posted, where they're nesting. And so obviously, not riding your bicycle on the beach where you're not supposed to. If it's a no-dog beach, I think you just have to honor that. A lot of people would like to run through the birds or have their child run through the birds and get a photo. We really encourage people not to do that. The species I study the closest are black skimmers and least terns, and I know all about them and I love them, but I also love to go out to bird as a hobby. Birding is something that connects you to the environment, and it makes you think, yeah, they could be anywhere. So we should be, planting trees, planting plants that have good fruit for birds, seeds for birds, good places for birds to nest, things like that.
Tampa Bay is more than just water and sand. It is a living, breathing connection between the land we call home and the wild spirit of the Gulf. Let's take good care of it, because when we look up and see birds soaring, we see the beauty of a healthy, thriving Tampa Bay, for them and for us.